Hi everyone, Richard here at Calvin Wazoo with another video for you. And today I am jumping on a thread that really kind of caught my eye and my ear, I should say. And this is one that is started by Chris Propfe at Musically Obsessed. And it's a pretty simple one. O is for October. And I also saw Mike at Hub Tunes had done a video on this, and I thought, oh, wow, this would be kind of fun to join. But then, the more I thought about it, the more I realized I really don't have very much in terms of vinyl by bands that start with the letter O. I was like, oh. Wow, I can't think of any. I mean, like behind me here, these sets of cubicles are all my quote unquote, rock genre vinyl, going from the 1950s to the 2000s. And yeah, nothing. I have nothing in my O section. And then, I started realizing, some of my other, over here, I've got some, country and bluegrass, and I've got some classical and soul and funk, and punk is over there. And over here, I've got some shelves that has my Frank Zappa, in my jazz. And then I started realizing, wow, I'm very limited in the number of records I can show by bands that start with O. And then when it comes to musical artists whose last name begins with O, I again was kind of like, oh, don't have any. But I've got some artists whose first names begin with O. And then I was able to expand my list by cheating a little bit, that they weren't necessarily taken from the O section of whatever genre of shelving that I was doing. Whatever. But seriously, I have no Sinead O'Connor. I have no Joan Osborne. And I would like to get some of these artists. I have no just Ozzy. Okay, I have Black Sabbath, but nothing that's just Ozzy. And I don't have any Oasis. And that's pretty much it that I can think of. And some of what's been shown by others on this thread is really pretty interesting stuff that I'm going to look up. But I do have some, so let's get to it. So with the first one is a band, I guess you could call them, and that is Old and in the Way. And this goes way back in my history. I mean, I got this when I was still in high school. So yeah, 1975 is when it was first released. This is a bluegrass band that includes Jerry Garcia, Peter Rowan, Vassar Clements, David Grisman, and the bass player, I'm always forgetting his name. Bass player is John Kahn. Great classic bluegrass, phenomenal record. I've had this, got it on the original Round Records label. Really fantastic stuff. All right, so then I have a band that does begin with O, and I got that out from my soul section. That is Ohio Players. So here is the album Honey on the Mercury label. So this has got the, of course, the song Honey, but it also has probably a song that was a pretty good size hit Which one is it? Sweet Sticky Thing. Love Roller Coaster. Love Roller Coaster. Yeah, so the Ohio Players. Honey. And then I also have the Ohio Players Fire. Fire. Do-do-do. Do-do-do. So yeah, also a Mercury label. All right, so when it comes to records that strictly meet the requirements, for the category O, that's it. That's all I got. So I went and, as I said, I fudged a little bit and went for first names, and I even used an article from a foreign language that begins with O, even though it is an article, because it's a word that just simply means the, but it'll work. What the heck? So, Oliver Nelson. All right, pulled this out from my funk category. Interesting label here. Oliver Nelson. This is some 1970s. It says here Cosmic Jazz Funk Classic from 1975. It's kind of cheesy funk, television series, television show theme song style funk. So it's a bit on the cheesy side, but it's really well done. So this is gourmet cheese. Okay. So Oliver Nelson, it's called Skull Session. All right. Now, then I go to one of my favorite jazz pianists of all time, and that's Oscar Peterson. So this is the Oscar Peterson Trio live from Chicago on Black Label Verve. There used to be a club called the London House, I believe is where this was recorded. Which it doesn't exist anymore. I mean, it's still a bar in a hotel that's on Wecker Drive looking over the river. But when it was the London House, in the 60s and into the 70s, it was a pretty hot venue for jazz musicians. And the Oscar Peterson Trio played there quite often. In fact, there's a series of albums he released from live shows from there, and that happens to be one of them. Then I also have the Oscar Peterson Trio plays, also on the Black Verve label. So again, some great jazz piano. And then this one I believe is also from sessions at the London House. I might be wrong on this, but this is a Japanese pressing of Oscar Peterson Trio on the Town. So also Verve Records, but it's the white label promo Japanese pressing. So love Oscar Peterson. Great piano. Now the next O is I'm kind of really cheating on this one. This is a Brazilian psychedelic band, Os Mutantes. And you really can't say that this qualifies, I don't file this under O, I file this under M, because os is merely the article the. So the mutants, Os Mutantes. So I'm just really kind of cheating here. I mean, imagine if there was a month named, a month that began with the letter T, and, so for that theme, think of, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, that's the equivalent of what I'm doing here with Os Mutantes. But nonetheless, what the heck? Really cool psychedelic Brazilian band. Then I also have this other one, a Divina Comédia ou Os Mutantes. So these you can find, they're being re-released. So you can get newer pressings of these, but because they are foreign pressings, they're not necessarily being pressed in the United States. For those of us living in the United States, they're going to be a little pricier than your average album. Oh, I get this has been on my shelf for a while, so like the dust is tickling my nose. Another Os Mutantes, another really great one. This is a Full Metal Jacket. I believe this is a newer release of theirs. I know it's a 2013 pressing, but I don't think it's a 2013 original release. But anyway, as I say, at least locally where I shop, they very often have records by Os Mutantes. Here's another one where I'm going with the person's first name, beginning with O, and it's a soundtrack. This is from my anime collection. So this is the Synthesizer Fantasy, arranged and performed by Osamu Shoji. So this goes with the franchise Gundam, which is a mecha series, robots, giant robots, battling kind of thing. But I do like the Gundam series because the overarching theme is the conflict between capitalists who just want to run the world, or the universe in this case, because it's in the future, we're talking, in space. And because each faction of capitalists and these families, these corporate families that are super, uber rich, they all want the same thing. They want to control everything, which is the nature of capitalism. The goal is to control everything. So they're constantly at war. That is by and large the nature of war. It's either because of ethnic hatred or it's because of, motivated by capitalism. And that's what I really like about the Gundam series, because it really plays to that whole theme. And the music is really quite good as well. So this is very cool, Columbia, but, Japanese pressing. So the arranger is Osamu Shoji. And then to end this, I have some records by Otis Redding. So we've got Otis Redding and then Carla Thomas, King and Queen on the Stax label. Great record. And then another Otis Redding is Otis Blue on the Volt label. Another one, great songs on here. His cover of Satisfaction, and Rock Me Baby, B.B. King's Rock Me Baby, and Sam Cooke's Shake. But this also has, his song Respect, which, of course, Aretha Franklin took it to an entirely other level. This one was a Record Store Day release. This is live at the Monterey International Pop Festival, Otis Redding, on a kind of a plum colored vinyl. This was a pretty amazing show for Otis. And if I am correct, right after he performed this, and he was backed up by Booker T and the MGs and the Marquis, then he went back to Stax Records, and then he did the Dock of the Bay sessions and recorded the song Dock of the Bay, which a lot of people are sitting on the Dock of the Bay. This is on Volt Records also. But a lot of people, including his wife, the song Dock of the Bay was like a really major change of style and direction for him. And a lot of people were like, I don't know about this. But he felt absolutely certain about the song, and it certainly did become a hit. But then after he finished recording it, he went and did a gig in, I think it might have been Cleveland. And then he was flying from Cleveland to Madison, Wisconsin, and it was a snowstorm, and the plane crashed in the lake there at Madison, and he was dead before the Dock of the Bay was issued. So that's my selections for O is for October. Hope you enjoyed that. I know I've been enjoying many of the other videos that I've seen that are people are joining this thread because, I know I want to get some of these artists and bands that, their last name or the name of the band, begins with O. I really don't have very many. And I definitely need to change that. But as always, I remind you to pray for the people inside your head, for they won't be there when you're dead.